Today I am going to be interviewing Peter C., who is a social studies and government teacher at Mill River Union High School. So what made you choose to get into teaching, and especially teaching politics and such?
Well, teaching the politics and such was the easy part. I've always been interested in politics and history and government. I've been always even since I was a little kid, I was always like a history kid. Even when I was like in 4th and 5th grade, I'd always read my older brother's history books and stuff. And then the teaching part was more, I guess, kind of accidental. I just started doing it and liked it and stuck with it.
Gotcha. What was your favorite election cycle and why?
Presidential elections?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of hard because everyone, that's like asking for your favorite Super Bowl, you know? Like every election has its own, truth is stranger than fiction. Every election has its own strange twists and turns. So leaving aside the outcome of the election, the 2000 election was something, again, like it was just nobody knew what was going to happen. And then the 2016 election was the other one that just kind of blew everybody out of the water. So just from a purely political scientist point of view, I'd say 2000 probably.
What election results surprised you the most and why? Of all time.
The biggest surprise election in my lifetime has to be 2016, with the possible exception of 2024. 2024, people see, it seemed to be more of a possibility in the short term, but in the big picture, it was a big surprise. And then 2016. Very few people predicted Trump was going to win in 2016, including myself. Like nobody predicted it, So I'd say that was the most surprising result for sure. I think historically, probably 1948 when Truman was elected, when nobody gave him the slightest chance of getting elected, probably was the historic one. I think.
Who is one of your political icons that you've always wanted to meet?
One of my political icons that I've always wanted to meet.
Have met.
I have met Hillary. I met Hillary once. I got to shake her hand in her office when she was a senator. I've worked for Bernie Sanders for a long time as a volunteer in all his various campaigns, going back to when he was mayor of Burlington.
Wow.
So I've met Bernie several times. I would guess probably somebody like Nancy Pelosi, somebody like that. It would be pretty exciting to meet. Somebody like, or even the other, leaders in the Senate or House today. It'd be really interesting to meet George. I always wanted to meet George Bush, George W. Bush. I always wanted to meet him. My dad went to college with his dad. So if I ever met him, I would say that. Our dads played baseball together. So.
If there was one president you could bring back from the dead to serve for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Harry Truman.
Why?
Because he was a no-nonsense, learn-on-the-job, didn't owe people favors. He was the consummate politician. He knew how to play the game. He knew how to push the right buttons without having to sell out. Every politician has to sell out to a certain degree. But I think he would be. I think he would be a good man for the times. I think he would ring true with people.
When you've been to D.C., what was one of the most surreal experiences you've ever had?
We were in D.C. once when I've been there several times. I've been there to D.C. a lot of times. I've been there several times with the Mill River students, and the most surreal experience was we were there during what they thought was a terrorist attack at the time. We found out later that it was just a plane had wandered over private airspace over Washington, D.C. So they scrambled F-14s and stuff, and there were terrorist alerts, and all the museums got emptied out, and we were in the House of Representatives dining room, and we were evacuated. And it was that, and the whole day, the whole city was turned upside down. And this was around maybe 2005, it was just 4 or 5 years after 9/11. So it was not, it was not a fun experience for the locals, for the Washington people. It was not. So that was, that whole day was. That was the craziest day in Washington I've ever spent. So.
Wow.
Yeah, that was nuts. That was funny.
That is amazing.
All of our meetings got canceled because it was we have one day where we actually go to Capitol Hill and meet all these different politicians. But Patrick Leahy was on the Senate Intelligence Committee, so he got called to the White House. So all of our meetings got canceled. So we couldn't get any of our tours. So we kept trying to sneak into the Capitol. It was pretty funny. It was fun. It was an exciting day, for sure. Washington's really a nice place. It's really a great place to visit. It's America's hometown. They never make you feel like an out-of-towner there. So it's a nice place to visit.
If there was one period in time you could go back to and live your entire life in, what would it be?
No, I don't. I don't ever go for those. I like modern times. I like modern conveniences. I like the internet. I like having vehicles that work. I like having indoor plumbing. So no, I have no desire to go back in the past. I don't believe that there was ever a golden age. Our best days lie ahead of us.